Good morning, children. Today we are going to discuss about an interesting topic, that is sexual reproduction. It is a very important topic to learn. Understand? Till now we are discussing about different methods of asexual reproduction. Understand? So in asexual reproduction we have learned like a new organism is produced from a single organism. But the reproduction now we are learning is sexual reproduction. It is occurred with the fusion of gametes and it involves two different organisms. This is called sexual reproduction. Understand? Now we have to go to the introduction part little bit. As we have discussed that creation of DNA is the basic event in reproduction. Okay, when the DNA is replicating, along with the DNA, another cellular apparatus also will be prepared for that. Okay, and also we have learned the copying of DNA always results in some errors. All the reactions are not accurate. So the errors will result in some variations. Understand? And we have discussed about importance of variations also. These variations are always they are always not bad and they are always not good. In which conditions we have to discuss now? If the variation is less or the variation is less or minute, always it will be favorable and we can welcome such variations. But there are some variations which will be very drastic. In that scenario, definitely the DNA cannot cope up with the cellular apparatus and it will lead to the death of the cell. So what type of variations we can welcome, children? Maybe all the variations cannot protect the individual species, but the variations will involve in the survival of species. Okay. Now we are discussing about the important topic, that is sexual reproduction, and we are stressing more on the point variation. Why? Let's go to the process in detail. Now as we are discussing about the particular topic variation arised during the copying of DNA, as now in sexual reproduction two different organisms are involving in the process. So definitely two new DNA will be copied. Two new DNA will get replicated. In that process we can think there is a chance for more and more number of variants. Okay, now in this process, since the variations do not have really bad effects, combining these variants from two different parents, it would create new and new combinations, and also each combination will be novel. As how we discussed in asexual reproduction, there is no chance of variation because if there also they are very less because only single parent is involved. But now coming here, as two different parents are involved, there are more chances of variation. That is the major difference between sexual and asexual reproduction also, children. Understand? Now come to the topic. As we are discussing like two different organisms, two gametes will combine. Okay, if two different gametes will combine, what happens, children? You think once each cell will have its own DNA. If these two gametes will combine together, what happens? The newly formed organism, what is there? It will get double the amount of DNA what the parental organisms will have. Did you understand my question, children? My question is, suppose if a particular organism is having a constant number of chromosomes, everyone will have constant number of chromosomes, children. Each species will have constant number of chromosomes. Now, particular organism will have the chromosomal number as 10. Okay, now in sexual reproduction, as two organisms will get involved, this organism will have 10 and this organism will have 10. When these two gametes will combine together to form a new organism, what do you think? The newly formed organism will have 10 chromosomes or 20 chromosomes? And each one of the cell will have its own DNA. So the newly formed organism should have two DNA. So if this is the case, what happens, children? Maybe your answer will be yes or no. But if it is yes, the answer is yes, like if the number of chromosomes will get doubled, number of DNA will get doubled in the next generation, then what happens? From one generation to another generation, the chromosomal number will get doubled and the DNA number also will get doubled. Is it right? No. Each and every individual should need to maintain some fixed number of chromosomes. How can we maintain fixed number of chromosomes? When the gametes are formed, at that time, what happens, children? These cells undergo meiotic division or reduction division. What is this division? In this division, the chromosomal number will be reduced to half. If the chromosomal number is 10, it will be reduced to 5. If the chromosomal number is 20, it will be reduced to 10. Understand? Now the particular organism which we are discussing about now, that particular organism will have how many chromosomes? 10. This is a male organism. Another female organism which is participating in reproduction, it is also having 10 number of chromosomes. Now before they fuse, then what? So before the cell divides, this cell number which is having the chromosomal number as 10, it will be reduced to 5. And this cell also, this gamete, particular gamete which is participating in reproduction, it will also reduce it to half. Here this gamete, the particular gamete is having, male gamete is having 5 number of chromosomes, whereas the female gamete is also having similar number of chromosomes. Both the male and female gametes will fuse together to form a new zygote which have the number of chromosomes here 10. And the parental organism is also having the chromosomal number as 10. So because of this meiotic or reduction division, what happened? The number of the chromosomes is reduced to half, and half of the DNA from each cell will get united to form a new cell which will have the fixed number of chromosomes like the parental organism. Now as we are discussing about sexual reproduction, as the male and female gamete will fuse together, these two gametes will fuse together to form a new organism called zygote, which is made up of single cell. So remember one point, children. Each and every living organism starts their life with single cell, that is zygote. This zygote undergoes repeated divisions and it will develop into an embryo. This embryo, after differentiation, it will develop into a complete organism. Now we have to understand the types of germ cells. Now we are discussing about male cell, female cell, male germ cell, female germ cell. Both the male and female germ cells will get united to form embryo. Now we have to think, is the two cells are similar? This male germ cell and female germ cell. No. The male germ cell is small and it is motile. What is meant by the term motile? It can move. Whereas female germ cell is large and it is stationary. It doesn't move. And this female one, ovum, it stores food also. Okay, there are so much differences between these two cells. But this male and female gametes will combine together to form zygote, and which later on develops into embryo and a new organism after differentiation. This is what the general introduction for sexual reproduction, children. You are very much clear about asexual reproduction. This is general introduction about sexual reproduction. Now let's see first how the sexual reproduction occurs in plants with a video, so that you can understand it very much clearly. Let's watch the. Good morning, children. In this session, we are going to learn about sexual reproduction in plants. Before we go in detail about sexual reproduction, we need to understand the different parts of the plant like root, stem, leaves, flower, etc. Among these, the flower is the most beautiful part and also it is the reproductive part of the plant. In the flower, stamen is the male reproductive part and carpel is the female reproductive part. Some flower contains both male and female reproductive parts. These are called bisexual flowers. Examples for such bisexual flowers are pea and China rose. On the other hand, the flowers which possess either male or female flower reproductive part, they are called as unisexual flowers. Examples for such unisexual flowers are corn and cucumber. Now let's learn about the parts of stamen and carpel. Each stamen is made up of an anther and a filament. Anther produces male gametes called pollen grains. And the carpel is made up of three different parts. Those are stigma, the middle elongated style, and the basal swollen ovary. Ovary contains female gametes called ovules. In sexual reproduction, the male gamete should fuses with female gamete to form a zygote. For that, the male gamete should reach the female gamete. For this process, the pollen grain should be transferred from stamen of a flower to the stigma of the flower, which process is called as pollination. If the pollen of the flower transfers from stigma of the same flower, it is called as self-pollination. If the pollination occurs between the pollen of one flower and stigma of another flower, it is cross-pollination. Pollination occurs with the help of different agents like wind, water, or animals. Once a pollen reaches the stigma of a flower, a tube grows from the pollen grain. This tube reaches the ovary. Among the two male gametes, one of the male gamete fuses with the egg cell to form a zygote. Now the zygote, formed after fertilization, divides into several times to form an embryo. Now we need to observe the post-fertilization changes. The ovary will develop into a fruit now. If you observe, the sepals and petals fall off. So the seed contains a fruit which contains an embryo which is actually a baby plant.